We want to welcome you and invite you to grab a pen and paper. If this is your first time joining us, we cover a lot of information in a short amount of time. And so if you miss something, remember the session is being recorded and we will post a link to our YouTube channel. So again, thank you for being here and welcome. It's Tuesday. It's the first Tuesday in October. And again, every Tuesday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., we are hosting this virtual platform. Right now, we again have suspended our in-person programs for literally 18 months. And so that is sort of the genesis of why we're hosting these virtual programs. But hopefully one day in the very, very near future, we will be able to see you in person and resume those face-to-face activities. Okay, so what do you have? What do we have on deck today? So today you're going to hear from Dr. Monica Parker. She's just going to give us a refresher on distinguishing between the dementias and what is Alzheimer's and, you know, the risk. A lot of newcomers have come on, and so we want to just make sure everybody has, excuse me, allergies at play, probably the flowers behind me. But we want to do a refresher course just to set the tone as we go into the fall programming, because we will be bringing on several of our researchers to discuss their research projects and just the progress and how they are going, and also include some of you all who have joined those studies that here lately, because we've been introducing them to you and you all have been signing up. So thank you if you have recently joined a research program in the last 6 months. Again, that is our mission, to ultimately find a cure for Alzheimer's and related dementias. We have about 18 projects that our program is sponsoring as a research center. So thank you all for being here. All right, let's see here. Someone said the pic is frozen. Okay, we're at the mercy of the internet. So again, you might want to refresh your screen or let me know if you can't see or hear me. I have this program going on back here, and so, yep, a little bit of a delay with my internet. So I apologize. All right, so after you hear from Dr. Monica Parker, you're going to hear from Ginger Ragans from the Atlanta Regional Commission, and then followed by Ginger, you're going to hear from Alyssa Perkins. They're going to be talking about all of the programs and services through the Atlanta Regional Commission, the Area Agency on Aging. A lot of these are state programs, and so if you're listening out of state, you'll be able to go to your local area agency on aging and ask about these various programs. All right. So every week, what do? We begin with exercise. And last week we had a couple of takeaway. I'm about to take them away. Last week we had to have a recording with John. This week he's here live with us, so thank goodness. John, get us going today, and then you all get ready. We've got lots of content to cover in less than an hour. Thank you for being here.
Hey! First of all, I would like to welcome everyone to the Emory Alzheimer's Disease Research Center. Today, it's raining in Atlanta, but this is how I'm feeling. So go get your comfortable chair. Make sure you have some water bottles. If you want to use bands, cans, anything around the house to just get a little bit of resistance, or you have dumbbells, anything you want to use around the house, you can go get it right now. Because today we're going to do continuous, and we're going to work on those abs, that total upper body, hips, glutes, legs, quads, calves, the entire body today. So in 5 seconds, we're about to get started. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There we go. I just need you to rock with me. come on. Raise the room and have some fun. Throw away the work to be done. Wherever you at, we turn it into a day party now. Watch it. Everybody sing, everybody dance. Lose yourself in wild romance. Scroll it. Party around. Come on now. Forever. Come on and sing it on. Let's get a little step with it. Party around. Come on. Stop forever. Come on and sing it on. Get the back up. We don't want the man up. Good boy. Good hands, good. Come on, please. Keep rocking. Keep rocking. Hey. People dancing all in the street. Now we're going to get a little bit of that ball back. Just lean forward. And just keep rocking now. It's good. Wild and sweet. Now go to your level. Let the music play. Feel it in your heart and feel it in your soul. Let the music take control. Come on. Turn your waist. Turn your waist. And give me that upper body. Sing it on. Hey, hey. Come on and sing my song. Let's go! Come on now, come on! Keep waving! Look at the biceps! Look shoulders! That waistline! Once you get started, come on! Keep it going! Keep it going! You do need to take a break! Take that break and come on back. Everyone's dancing and trouble. Come on, come on. Come join our party, see how great. Come on. Come on. Hey, hey. Somebody is the most. Wait to party, oh wait, oh. Oh, Jambula, somebody says the most. Come on, yeah, Jambula. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, yeah. We're gonna have a party. Come on, come on, come on. All night long. Come on, all night. Hey, all night long. If you got anybody you just want to get rid of, all the demons, let it go. Let's go. Hey, take it away. Let's go. Come on and sing along. Oh, give me one. Give me another one. Give me another one. Come on. Come on and sing my song. Let's go. Hey. All right. Get them back up. Get them up. Get them up. Get them up. Come on. All right. Come on. Great job! That was just warm up. I'm sorry, we was working out too. I went a little long on that one. This next one, grab your weights, and we about to take off. 5, 4, 3. Feels good to see the world getting loose. Feels good to see today. The world getting loose. I don't know about you. I don't know about you. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. Hey, hey. don't know about you, but I feel good. Hey, I don't know about you, but I feel good. What? I don't know about you, but I feel good. I'm 2 + 2, I'm for show. Good bicep, good bicep. You stop, you drop, let it roll. You twerk, you pop, you so slow. I hate me too if I were you. And when it comes to biz, I take two. It's only one life, you don't get two. So live life, don't let it live you.
I got a pocket full of $100 bills.
Yeah, there we go.
Put on a jacket, cause these diamonds give you chills.
Let's go, let's go.
Shots are running.
Remember, if you need to take a right, take it and come on back. Let's go.
Look in the mirror, I'm like, who the hell is he?
I'm feeling good.
So many whips and cribs, I'm losing track of keys.
I'm feeling good.
Into something.
What?
Yeah. I'm drinking out the bottle.
Let's go. Let's go. Hey.
I don't know about you, but
I feel good. Hey. I don't know about you, but I feel good. Come on.
I don't know
About you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good.
I don't know about you, but I feel good. I'm 1 + 1, come strong. If it ain't about money,
Come on,
get
come on.
gone.
Hey.
I wanna wild out all night long. You
Run.
run out, then get on. I'd hate me too if I
Woo!
were.
I'm feeling good today, every day, all year, all month, every second. Woo! I'm gonna finish y'all off. We're gonna slow it down. And this one, all about good time. You know what? If you wanna sit down, you can, but I'm gonna stand up on this one. And if you sit down, just follow my feet.
Good time.
Come on.
These are the good times.
Come on.
Leave your
And if you need to hold on to that chair, that cane, if you sit down, keep them legs going. Let's go. Heel.
good times. These
I'm doing a little squat. I'm getting those glutes.
are new steps.
And if you sit down, give me them heels. Heels.
Good times.
Come on. Walk.
The days are here again.
Come on. Hey.
The time
Now can I just get those hips? Give me them hips.
Let's get
And if you
together.
just wanna,
I want
let's go. Come on.
come tomorrow. Let's all do it
Let's
again.
go.
Boys will be both. Better let them have their talk.
Come on.
Girls will
I
be
just need you to rock your hips.
on their tails.
Loosen up. Now we go homo. Y'all ready? Let's finish up.
I think I want to live the sporty life. Good times.
Hold on. Yo. Hold on. Other way. Come on. And if you sit down, just go around. Watch this.
Good times.
Come on. How low can you go? How low can you go? How low can you go? Hey, great job. Woo! We got a lot of energy. We did a lot of cardio today because cardio is life. And I want everyone happy all week, all month, all year. I'm John Lewis, and see you later. Bye.
Bravo. Thank you, John. A round of applause for John, who gets us moving and excited before we dive into all of this amazing content. So thank you all for being here. Let's see, we have about 180 online with us today. So are you ready for today's program? Again, you're going to hear from Dr. Monica Parker. She's going to be giving us an overview about dementia and Alzheimer's. For some of you, it may be repeat information, but it bears a repeat and a return to the information, especially for some of our new viewers. So again, you're going to hear from Dr. Monica Parker. She's going to be giving us an update about dementia and Alzheimer's. Then you'll hear from Ginger Ragans from the Atlanta Regional Commission. She's going to be talking about a lot of their services and things that are accessible to our viewing audience today. Then you're going to hear from Alyssa Perkins. She's going to be talking about their care consultation program. So not only are we a research center, but we love to partner with all of our agencies around the country and the state so that you are informed and can make decisions as you age. All right, so I'm going to welcome Dr. Monica Parker. Thank you all. We appreciate you for joining us. Yes, thank you, John. We have to get you up and moving. And as we say every week, what's good for your heart is good for your brain. Welcome, Dr. Parker.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Today, because we have, and in the last couple of weeks, I'm really very proud of our audience here. We've had a number of new people new to the dementia field and learning more and more about it. So today, we're going to give you just a little bit more information about Alzheimer's and related dementias. But before I get into that, I want to make an announcement for our big Brain Health Forum, which is going to be the last Tuesday in this month of October. We will have people from other universities talking about ongoing clinical studies. Dr. Ilyana Apostova from Indiana University, who leads a study called LEADS. It's a study on things you can do to prevent dementia. Dr. Joshua Grill, who's a PhD doctor from UC San Diego. And we're going to have Dr. Sundrock from Biogen Corporation talking about the development of the new drug Adrecanimab, which has just been developed or released or has been approved by the FDA for prescribing here in the United States to treat Alzheimer's. So with that, I'm going to go on here and talk a little bit more about memory loss, dementia, and Alzheimer's. And for those of you that are new, I want you to think of dementia as a big, broad term, and underneath it is Alzheimer's, is HIV/AIDS, is alcoholic encephalopathy, is stroke-related dementia. So dementia is the broad term, and there are different types of dementia as you go along. And depending upon what type of dementia you have, you might have memory loss as a part of it. So memory loss can be related to a lot of other types of dementia. Next, please. So there is, at this point in time, no definitive cure for brain degenerative disease. We're still working on it. We have a few things coming out that may be helpful, but the idea is we still haven't quite gotten the mechanism together. Okay, we got a drug over here and we've got a disease process over here, but it's not clear that any of the drugs that we've developed thus far stop the disease process or stop the disease, okay? Right now, all of the medications used to treat memory loss, and I'm going to use memory loss because that's what everybody seems to understand, because that's a problem that people are worried about. Preservision, I'm trying to think of Prevagen, that's the one I'm trying to think of. A whole bunch of ads are on television talking about these things that make your brain better. That's something that is not actually based on evidence. So let's go to the next one. Okay, so what are some of the risk factors for Alzheimer's? Okay, number one, aging. You live long enough, old organisms start to have problems. Old organisms with brains don't have problems just with their brains, but they have trouble with their muscles. They have trouble with their hearts. They have trouble with their kidneys. They have trouble with their urologic systems. Okay, the older the organism, the more likely there is to be a problem. So people who develop dementia and Alzheimer's in particular are likely to be older people. And if you live for a very long time, you're at greater risk for developing dementia. But just because you're getting old doesn't mean you get dementia. Your genes have a lot to do with that. If your family lives into their 90s, chances are you will too, okay? Gender, females are more likely to develop Alzheimer's in comparison to men. People who've been traumatized, received head injury, football players, domestic violence survivors, people who have had repeated concussions are more at risk for developing Alzheimer's in particular. Vascular disease, that's high blood pressure, that's heart disease, that's irregular heartbeats like atrial fibrillation, that's strokes. All of those sorts of things affect your brain and can be a risk factor for developing a dementia. Maybe it's Alzheimer's, maybe it's Alzheimer's mixed with a vascular process. And finally, we have learned in recent years that your lifestyle kind of predicts where you're going to go with your brain disease. We've learned that about 30 to 60% of all dementias can be prevented by modifying our lifestyle, our diet, our activity level, our socialization level, even the type of job that we have. So most of the research we're working on now involves how can you prevent dementia versus how can we treat it? Next, please. So what are some of the symptoms of dementia? For everybody who talks about dementia, the most overwhelming problem they're concerned about is memory loss. Then they get irritated by family members who repeat stories, who repeat words, phrases, things like that. But other things that indicate somebody may have a problem with the way their brain is working and maybe they're developing dementia is the loss of bowel and bladder function. Okay, people are soiling themselves in public, wetting themselves, and it's like, can't you control your bladder? Can't you control your bowels? Okay, but the inability to control those things is indicative of a brain disconnection. Inability to manage your finances, independently feed yourself, toilet yourself, groom yourself, gait instability. Deterioration or shrinkage of the brain results not only in cognitive problems, but also physical problems, problems with our mobility, problems with our ability to stand up straight. Some advanced dementia is accompanied by personality changes. People become evil. People may become psychotic. All of those things, anything that's a break from what is usual for that person, is time to pause and look and see, well, let's see what else is going on with that person. Discuss this with your family doctor. Next, please. So when you see these behaviors, you need to see a doctor. You don't need to sit there and argue with them and try to do things that you think are going to work. If you're observing things that are unusual, talk to your doctor and be specific about what you're seeing. More importantly, it's important to see a doctor because a lot of what you may be seeing may not be related to a brain degenerative process, but some other physiologic problem that can be addressed and that can be treated. Maybe persons are having medication interactions. Maybe these people are depressed, and that's something that can be fixed. In any event, you need to discuss very carefully with your doctor what you are observing. And participating in research, in my opinion, is an adjunct to healthcare. It's not in place of healthcare. So we have research, and I want everybody who's able to participate in some of our research here. But if you have real medical problems, they're not necessarily going to be addressed in the way that you think they should by participating in research. Research is not a substitution for basic primary care. Keep going. So when you want to treat somebody who has Alzheimer's or any other disease, what is it you're trying to do? The main thing you're trying to do is allow that person to maintain their overall quality of life and level of function. Okay, when somebody's starting to have problems, sometimes we have an intervention that works and sometimes we don't. As person's symptoms progress, the kind of intervention that is effective at improving their quality of life is no longer an option. Keep going. As it is with people who have advanced dementia. Well, she's got dementia, what can I do? By the time you develop advanced dementia, there's no treatment for it, okay? We have medications that may slow the progression of disease, and we have medications that may stop the disease. Chemotherapy for breast cancer is something that stops the disease process. As of this moment, we don't have any such drug for Alzheimer's or other neurodegenerative processes. I'll repeat that. As of right now, we don't have any definitive treatment for or a drug that stops the progression of Alzheimer's. Next, please. So right now, how are we treating Alzheimer's and related dementias and the behaviors that are going along with them? Well, we have several classes of medications that have been used. Most commonly are cholinesterase inhibitors, known commonly by brand names called Aricept, Razodine, and Exelon, pills, patches, in combination with something called memantine, otherwise called Namenda. There are some combinations of these two products. Namzaric is one, but none of these four medications is actually something that stops the process of Alzheimer's. They may modify some of the symptoms so that people can not become psychotic, but they don't stop the disease process. When people do develop advanced Alzheimer's or other dementias. They may be given antidepressant medications, not so much to cure their disease, but to kind of help manage things that the disease is doing. Maybe it changes their mood, keeps them from being too apathetic. Maybe it makes them sleep a little bit better. So antidepressants, things like Zoloft, Lexapro, citalopram, trazodone, mirtazapine may be used to help offset some of the other symptoms that make living with somebody who's got dementia a little difficult. Somebody who's not sleeping, somebody who's wandering may need something else to help them sleep. No, you don't give them Unisom or anything over the counter. And then people who become belligerent, people who become psychotic, who are hearing and seeing things that are on the wall. If there's no medical reason behind it, they may be given an antipsychotic medication. But antipsychotic medications are really for people who had mental health disorders before they developed dementia. If you were schizophrenic before you developed dementia, you're still schizophrenic, you just have dementia on top of it. So those medications previously used in your adult life to manage those things will still be required when you develop Alzheimer's or another dementia. Next, please. So what are the different treatment domains? How are we managing Alzheimer's disease? Well, most of us want a definitive treatment. Most of us want a pill, a prescription to take. But as of this moment, as I said earlier, there really is not an approved drug that intervenes or stops the Alzheimer's process. So there is a medication that may offer some help with respect to stopping or intervening in the disease process, but none as of this moment that are definitively treating the disease. So there is only one drug that's approved by the FDA that's recently been approved for modifying the Alzheimer's disease process. It's not widely available, nor is it appropriate for everybody who has a dementia. This medication is called Adrecanimab. It's an interventional medication developed by the pharmaceutical company called Biogen. It's what we call a monoclonal antibody. Now those terms may be familiar with you because those are what we're using to treat the COVID, people who've been infected with the COVID virus. Monoclonal antibodies are being used to treat COVID, but different monoclonal antibodies are being developed to treat Alzheimer's. Right now, Adrecanimab completed the phase 3 trials, which means it was tested in a large population, but the population wasn't representative of most of the people who have the disease. In particular, there was a very poor representation of African Americans, Latin Americans, and Native Americans, and Asian Americans. So the population was mostly of European descent. So medications that were more efficacious in that group have not necessarily been proven to be as efficacious in a group that isn't like that. So right now there is FDA approval for the drug. It is being administered, but it costs almost $56,000 to $60,000 a year to administer. And at this point in time, neither insurance nor Medicare is paying for administrating Adrecanimab. And it's an infusion, it's not a pill. So you have to go in and get an infusion like a chemotherapy every month in order to get this particular drug, which increases the cost for using and prescribing this drug. Next. In summary, it's important for you to appreciate that dementia is not necessarily just Alzheimer's. There are other things and other features that may be related to the onset of dementia. Dementia is a broad term. There are several different types of dementia. Underlying chronic illness, medication use may be something that's creating symptoms that look like dementia. Memory loss is not the only thing that is related to dementia. Right now, we still have no definitive medical cure or chemotherapy that effectively treats dementia. And we are working in research to try to help understand how this disease really is presenting, but more importantly, what are some things that may stop it? And so until we find a cure, we're doing what we can to prevent it. That's why we exercise, that's why we eat healthfully, That's why we're going to remain socially engaged, and we're going to get our annual wellness exams where we do the checkoff to make sure we do everything we can to stay healthy. That's the end of my presentation. Questions? Oh, okay. So it says, what is the cost of Adrecanimab? It's over $57,000 a year. So unless you're independently wealthy, you're not going to be able to afford Adrecanimab. Okay, let's see. I'll go into the chat. Okay, that's just it. So that's it for my comments. Any questions, Cornelia? Okay, there's one here that says, is there a correlation between Alzheimer's disease and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder? I'm not aware of any, and I think that there are some studies that may be going on relating those sorts of things, but the answer to that from my knowledge base is no. There is no correlation between attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and the onset of Alzheimer's. Foods and supplements that help. Well, we're going to talk a lot about things that are good for your brain. And one of the things that we have promoted lots of time is the Mediterranean diet, the MIND diet, which is a combination of the Heart Healthy DASH diet and the Mediterranean diet. But again, it's important for you to eat healthfully. We're not to have everything to be Southern fried. And there's a question from Sue DeGlopper. Is there a correlation between sleep deprivation and Alzheimer's? The answer to the question is that sleep deprivation is associated with cognitive dysfunction. Is that Alzheimer's? I'm not sure, but sleep deprivation and chronic insomnia is a risk factor for developing cognitive problems. Much like thinking we now have workplace restrictions on allowing medical students and medical residents to work more than 12 hours at a time. Because the longer you work and operate without sleep, the more likely you are to make mistakes and not think clearly. So yes, there is a correlation between brain dysfunction and sleep deprivation. And if you have sleep apnea, you need to manage that and treat that because that is a risk factor. Think oxygen deprivation. Think babies who were born with cords wrapped around their neck. They have a lifetime of mental disability because their brain cells died because they didn't have enough oxygen. When you are sleep deprived, you don't breathe. It's usually because you have sleep apnea. And when you have sleep apnea, your brain is not getting enough oxygen. So think of it that way. And that's a better way for me to tell you. Somebody says, can Aricept and Namenda be taken separately? They're usually prescribed together. How one takes it depends upon what their tolerance level is. I've had patients who take both medications at the same time, and then I've had patients who take it one in the morning and one in the evening. Everybody's an individual, and it's just variable, okay? Is it still true that persons need 8 hours of sleep? What I will say is people need more than 6 hours of sleep or 5 hours of sleep. And for those of you who brag about it, I'd be looking at you to have some problem with the way your brain functions at some point in time. Sleep apnea and sleep deprivation, as I said before, are associated with brain dysfunction. So we're on our next speaker, Ms. Ginger Ragans.
Yes. Hi there, everyone. My name is Ginger Ragans, and I am the Consumer Information Services Manager with the Atlanta Regional Commission. I'm part of the Aging and Disability Resource Connection. Next slide. All right, so what is an ADRC? An ADRC stands for the Aging and Disability Resource Connection, and it is a collaborative effort of the Administration for Community Living and the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. It is designed to streamline access to long-term care. The ADRC initiative is part of a nationwide effort to restructure services and supports for older adults and younger persons with disabilities. Our goal of the ADRC is to empower individuals to make informed choices and to provide easier access to long-term support. If you do not live in the Atlanta region, you can find an area agency on aging to help you in Georgia by visiting the Division of Aging Services website or nationwide at n4a.org or the Elder Care Locator. And of course, there's a phone number listed there on the slide that would go to the Georgia ADRC. Next slide. And we have a lot of great information to come at you, but we've got a short time period, so bear with me. All right, so the next slide is showing the map of Georgia, and it's showing the breakdown of all the different regions. Every region in the state of Georgia, as well as the country, is covered by an ADRC through the Area Agency on Aging or Center for Independent Living. Georgia has 12 ADRCs serving all 159 counties across the state of Georgia. The Atlanta Regional Commission is the designated area agency on aging for the Metro Atlanta region, and we serve the city of Atlanta, as well as Cherokee, Clayton, Cobb, DeKalb, Douglas, Fayette, Fulton, Gwinnett, Henry, and Rockdale counties. Next slide. Empowerline. We are the Atlanta region's ADRC, and part of that is a no wrong door access point for free information requests and assistance. We serve as the front desk for older adults, persons with disabilities of all ages, families, caregivers, and professionals who need help navigating life changes and surprise obstacles in their homes, with their health, and in their communities. Empowerline has access to a language line that can be used to interpret and translate requests for limited English proficient and deaf and hard of hearing individuals. Together, we work to simplify complex program of offerings, identifying long-term services and support solutions, and reduce caregiver burden. The ADRCs has a proven track record for helping disabled or aging individuals preserve independence and quality of life while staying safely in the community, because that is our goal. Next slide. We provide a person-centered approach when speaking with our callers. Here's a list of some of the services we provide. Our certified counselors providing the assurance and information to families. We sometimes will need to seek critical information to determine what might that individual would be eligible for. So we have information and referral assistance, intake and screening for HCBS non-Medicaid services, and CCSP, which is a Medicaid waiver program. We have community options counseling, BRI care consultation, which you'll hear from Alyssa here in a few minutes to talk more about that program. And we have an ePro resource team. And then, of course, we do have a couple of different initiatives and special projects throughout the year. Next slide. We receive over 70,000 requests for information annually. We have an extensive database of more than 26,000 services to help link individuals to the supports and resources they need, as well as an extensive partner network able to provide the full suite of home and community-based services to the aging and disability community. All of our specialists are certified by the Alliance of Information and Referral Systems. Our counselors are RNs, master's level social workers, counselors, and behavioral health professionals. The goal is to provide relevant and timely information to help people make informed choices about their long-term care needs. It's not a one-size-fits-all service. The ADRC counselors customize information and resources based on the client preferences and need. Next slide. So why would someone call the ADRC? Some people call in at a time of crisis. Perhaps their power was turned off, recent hospitalization, or a newly diagnosed condition. But others call because they are new to the area and want to see what's available, or they recognize that they or their loved ones are growing older and their needs are changing. They call to see what services are available, what things they can or should do now to plan for the future, like power of attorney, speaking with an elder law attorney, etc. We have others who want to engage more in the community and want to know what is available at local senior centers, volunteer, educational and recreational activities. And it may even be a caregiver calling for support, or the family of a 35-year-old who was recently admitted to a nursing home due to an accident. We provide unbiased, non-judgmental, person-centered resources. The ADRC specialist will ask the caller a few questions up front, including the reason for the call. The counselors are trained in motivational interviewing techniques and are often able to help callers identify additional needs to help provide resources to address the core issue of that problem. Next slide. HCBS Services, that is one of our most popular services. It's home and community based, and this is a non-Medicaid program, and these services are funded with the Older Americans Act dollars. You would have home delivered meals, homemaker service, personal care, respite care, and case management. There's also senior recreation, congregate meals, transportation, home modification, repair service, and adult day programs. Next slide. So what's the eligibility for HCBS? Well, you must be 60 years plus, anyone, regardless of age, who is diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease or related disorder, and we serve those most in need, whether it be economic, social, frailty, or at risk of institutionalization. Next slide. And how does someone apply for HCBS services? You would simply call Empowerline at 404-463-3333, and we will determine if you meet the criteria via intake and screening. Now, there may be a wait list for services, and funding varies by county and service. Next slide. Georgia's Elderly and Disabled Waivers. Now, in that program, there are programs called CCSP and SOURCE. Those are different Medicaid waivers. They're community-based, and it is an alternative to nursing home placement. And functional limitations include Alzheimer's or dementia. It does not include behavioral health or developmental disability. People who receive SSI and are eligible for medical assistance automatically meet financial eligibility for CCSP. The 2021 SSI amount is $794 per month. There may be a cost share associated with the program, and there are resource limits, but all of that would be determined during that call with one of our ADRC specialists. Medicaid estate recovery, that applies to an individual who is enrolled in CCSP who owns their own home. Next slide. Eligibility, yeah. Okay, so the next slide, would you go to the next slide, please? There we go. All right, so some of the services. Some of the services include personal care, which is housekeeping, shopping, errands, help with bathing, and meal prep. Also, companion sitter services and in-home respite. Home health includes skilled nursing, medical case management, physical, speech, and occupational therapies. And there's also alternative living in a personal care home. Next slide. How do you apply for EDWP? You'll notice the theme. You would call Empowerline at 404-463-3333, and we will determine if you meet the criteria via that intake and screening. And there may be a wait list for services, but we would certainly talk with you about what you might be eligible for. Next slide. Community options counseling. This is a step beyond information and referral. So we would determine long-term support options counseling if you were a candidate for that. It is an interactive decision support process whereby consumers, family members, and/or significant others are supported in their deliberations to determine appropriate long-term care choices in the context of a consumer's needs, preferences, values, and individual circumstances. Options counseling is generally a longer process and takes more time than traditional information and assistance services. Next slide. Thank you. So questions. I know I went really fast, but I wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to address some questions that you all may ask. You can see my email address there, so take that down. And of course, our Empowerline number. Again, is 404-463-3333. We have a great website, www.empowerline.org. And this website also has a self-serve feature on there where you can go in and look for resources as well if you do not want to talk with a counselor, but we're always able to help. All right, so let's see. I'm going to start looking at some of the questions. can we have Ginger come back and devote an entire hour? I would love to. I would love to do that. There is so much that the ADRC covers, but the point I want to get across to you all today is if you have an issue or a question about long-term care, or if something has changed in your life and you're like, where do I turn? Where do I go for resources? Call us. We would be glad to help. Now, I will admit, since the pandemic, our call volume has been extremely high. And I feel that it's more high now than it was at the beginning of the pandemic. So it may take a while for us to call you back, but please know we will call you back. I know that that can be frustrating when you don't get return calls, but we do return those calls and we would love to be able to talk with you, but just be patient with us, please. We ask for that. But we do offer such a great service and it's free. I mean, who doesn't like a free service to call and ask for advice about how to handle, getting a power of attorney? And we can connect you with the Georgia Senior Legal Hotline, and you can go to them for advice. Like I said, we have a resource database of over 26,000 resources at our fingertips, and we can help you to find, different resources that may be available and suit your needs.
Wow, thank you so much, Ginger. There's a couple of also comments and remarks in the Q&A. If you could answer them directly, and we will have to invite ARC on. They've been a long-standing partner with us for well over a decade, where we tried to have them featured at least twice a year. So looks like we need to do a little bit more. But we knew this resource was invaluable, and we needed to make sure that you were aware and they could walk you through how to access it. So now we're going to turn it over to her colleague, Alyssa Perkins, because there's more. Bear with me while I pull up your slides.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. And the BRI consultation program is just one of the services offered by the Atlanta Regional Commission. So I'm happy to share it with you all this afternoon. And here we go. All right. Again, my name is Alyssa Perkins, and I'm with the Atlanta Regional Commission, and I'm here to tell you about the BRI Care Consultation Program. Next, please. What is BRI Care Consultation? Well, it's a telephone-based and coaching service for older adults with memory and or physical impairments, and for their family, friends, the caregivers. BRI Care Consultation provides that ongoing support, helping find the practical solutions to meet one's needs, adjust to changes, planning for the future, providing that personalized coaching, personalized assistance with decisions, helping one manage the daily activities. Now, BRI Care Consultation is offered to you by the Atlanta Regional Commission in partnership with the Benjamin Rose Institute on Aging and the Georgia Department of Human Services Division of Aging Services. Next. All right. Who will I be talking to, you may wonder? Well, a care consultant. And this is a professional specializing in coaching adults with memory or physical impairments and their caregivers. The consultant is trained to provide quality information, organize help from family and friends, assist with finding, using services, suggesting approaches to care. And one of the things, as Ginger mentioned, that database that we have access to is incredible, which will help link you to different resources, programs in the community. So that's all part of it as well. Next, please. Who participates in the BRI Care Consultation? Well, caregivers of any age who are taking care of their loved one, their friend, the care receiver, who is 60 years of age or older, unless they have a dementia diagnosis. If the care receiver has a dementia diagnosis, then the age is not, does not have that 60 years to qualify. A caregiver is someone who helps the family member or the care receiver with activities of daily living, health-related decisions. That family member, the receiver, has a chronic health condition or a disability and needs the assistance ongoing from the caregiver. Next, please. Is BRI consultation right for me? Well, you know, the goal is to help find simple and practical solutions to improve care, to help build that foundation and empower the caregiver. The BRI care consultation might be right for you if you're needing services in the community, trying to find out what is available, what your loved one might be eligible for, understanding insurances, communicating with your doctor, involving families and friends, building that informal network to promote, improve home safety, managing medications or tips on managing medications, knowing when to go to the emergency department, coping with stress, planning for the future. Those are some of the pieces we try to help direct the caregiver with. Next, please. You may wonder, is the BRI care consultation right for me? Well, one great thing right now is that, and it was this way prior as well, prior to the pandemic, but it's a telephonic program. So you can participate over the phone or even email if you needed to, and we work with your schedule. So that makes it a little less challenging to connect. And again, it's all telephone based. And of course, if you have a change of mind or you feel like your needs have been met and you have a good path that you are taking, you can stop BRI consultation at any time. Next, please. What do we see caregivers needing? Well, education, and again, we have that incredible database which we can pull resources from, information, ongoing support, secured network of family and friends, that informal support, advice on how to take care of themselves. I think we all need to embrace self-care, especially those who are spending so much of their energy, their time, their strength on caring for someone else, remembering how important self-care is. Services that reduce stress and strain. Next, please. And here is a brochure. So you all can pass this on to anyone you think may benefit from the program, share it with your colleagues, with your neighbor. It has the information on the bottom, how to get in touch with myself or the care consultation. There's a direct line and there's an email added. Of course, if you ever call Empowerline and they see that you may benefit from the BRI program, they would direct you to us as well. And the final slide just again has my information on it. And I thank you for allowing me the time to share this wonderful program with you all. And I hope you reach out to us. And if you have any questions, I would be glad to work with you.
Thank you, Alyssa. Will you repeat the number on the screen and the email for our listeners?
Absolutely. So the number on the screen is 1-844-557-1686. And the email you can reach out to is care consultation, which is CARECONSULTATION at atlantaregional.org.
Excellent. And so we are going to try to drop that in the chat box to give people time to grab that information as well. Thank you all so much for being here. A round of applause virtually for Alyssa and Ginger. As we continue to host these programs, we hear some of your questions and concerns and just want to be able to be a resource and make sure you have enough information so you can have the support you need when you have to make those informed decisions about your loved ones or yourself. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, again, what does the BRI stand for? Good question.
Excellent. BRI is the Benjamin Rose Institute. They are partners with the Care Consultation Program, evidence-based program, as well as the Rosalind Carter Institute are all part of this program where the research has been conducted.
Okay, and I see a few more questions in the chat. No, in the Q&A. It looks like Ginger has been answering a lot of those.
Excellent.
Okay. And then, all right. So we are wrapping up, everyone. Again, did you know about any of this information? If you did, we applaud you. That means you're informed, and bravo to you. But if you didn't, take time to go back and look at the recording when we send it out. Or if you're like, I don't think I need this, but you may know someone who needs this information. So again, pass it on to someone else. All right, Matt, come on in. Tell us what we can expect with our cognitive empowerment program today. And you're like, if you're new, what is the cognitive empowerment program? Well, every week since January, we've been they've been piggybacking, I'll say that, right after our 2 p.m. BrainTalk Live. The Cognitive Empowerment Program has been hosting their own virtual session at 3 p.m. And so, Matt, who are they going to see today?
Yeah, so today we're going to be joined by Megan, our yoga instructor. We're going to be doing like a yoga workout. I highly recommend it for anyone, whether you've done yoga or you've never done yoga. I would even highly recommend it if you've never been interested in yoga. Megan does like a really great job of making it really accessible. She has like her own like great way of doing it too. And I really encourage everyone to join. I am going to be posting a link to register for our event in chat in a second, so please come check us out. And yeah, and if you like BrainTalk Live, I think like BrainTalk Live, you guys get to cover like sometimes a few different topics. We're going to do a deep dive for an hour on one, and just see you guys then.
All right, thank you, Matt. So if you have registered for the Cognitive Empowerment Program, that link is different from our Zoom link. And again, they start right at 3 p.m. Yes, someone asked, are we recording these? All the sessions are recorded and we post them on our YouTube channel. So if you're getting an email from me on Friday or Monday or Tuesday morning, the recording is embedded in the body of that email. Okay? All right. Well, head on over to CEP, join them. We will see you back here next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great rest of the week. Goodbye.